Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for I Feel You, the podcast with today's special guest, Malcolm Turpin. He is the owner of Graffiti ATL. I had the chance of joining Malcolm's class June 24th. Me and a friend of mine, PJ from Savannah State, man, we went down to his class on the Atlanta Beltline and had a blast, man. When he gave me the instructions, I went to Sam Flax. I bought my spray cans or whatever, took it down to the belt line, and he had other participants there, and the other ladies that were there, man, they were fire. I mean, there was one lady, she was throwing up all type of stuff. I'm like, man. And I really learned that it's an art form, that graffiti is an art form. As I ride around through the city, just traveling around and stuff, I see certain tags. Like there's a guy named I see Vane all the time, Vayne. Uh, there's a guy that we talked about that I started seeing recently, Cyclops, like the eye or whatever.
Yeah.
Seeing him everywhere. I even saw his tag, on the back of a trash can. I have a cleaning business as well, and there's a trash can close to the business, one of the businesses that I clean, and I'm throwing away the trash, and I'm look on the side. I'm like, there he goes again. I'm like, this man is over here, so he's everywhere. But yeah, back to Malcolm. Malcolm's class is very. If you're interested in art, I suggest you go to graffitiatl.com, register for his class. It's held on the weekends on the Beltline, and you'll learn a lot. There are little kids that just stop parents and kids and parents to stop by and just want to join in. And hey, how do you do that? And um, yeah, Malcolm Turpin, he's our guest today. Also, I would like to say this episode of this season of I Feel You, the podcast is dedicated to one of my homeboys, Corey Morris, who passed away due to COVID over a little bit over a year ago. So I'd like to say shout out to Corey. And Malcolm, if you could just go ahead and just break it down and tell us a little about yourself, where you're from, and how you got interested in visual arts.
Hey everyone, I'm Malcolm. I am the graffiti artist in Atlanta. I'm born in Chicago, but I feel like a Atlanta native now. I've been here long enough. But yeah,
Gotcha.
art has always been my avenue in life, and I'm just glad to be here, and be able to teach and give more. That's all. I feel like it's
Okay, I got you. So, I, as in doing research for the podcast or whatever, I found several articles on you. Article from Shout Out Atlanta and Voyage ATL, and I feel like I've become. And then besides meeting you, I feel like I've come to know a little bit about you, and I seem like you and I have some of the same experiences. I know growing up, I felt socially awkward as far as not uh, feeling accepted by my peers or whatever, and I see that you felt the same way. And how do you feel that being socially awkward or whatever growing up is sort of kind of influenced your artwork?
well. I just want to let you know, like, man, I just growing up and understanding where people are, and there's more socially awkward children out here growing up than we expect. I understand that I was one, and you had your own experiences, but just starting off from that is something that we all deal with in our own way of being a part of a group in some form of acceptance. This might be a
Right.
little harder, for us growing up, for us not understanding a few things. But
Right.
growing up with just understanding that you might be a little bit, I wouldn't say awkward. It was hard for me to communicate, right?
Right.
Like to be understood, you have to use words. But for me, I wasn't that great. I used to have a speech impediment. I used to trip up on every other sentence. It used to give me anger issues because I can't even talk to people. But I learned that I can draw better than I can write and better than I can talk. And I can express myself through my hand expressing themselves, from paintings to drawings to it just it made it the world a lot easier for me to grasp going through art and using art. And it
Gotcha.
opened up a lot of opportunities for a moment with other children, and it's still opening up opportunities now with adults and businesses. Um, and it has been a very great tool foundations for me to grow up off of. I've always been somewhat of an artist. I've always been somewhere drawing somewhere and just expressing myself and wanting to show off my, my accomplishments to others and just looking for some form of validation. And it was my piece when I could not control anything growing up.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, I see that you went to the University of West Georgia, and if you could tell about your experiences at West Georgia and how you, I guess, matriculated from, I guess, from college into the formal like entrepreneurship realm. Like, did you work corporate, or did you teach or anything, and how did you go from that realm to, like, you know what, I want to start my own thing and use my talents?
There's a few stepping stones in there. There definitely is. Okay,
Okay.
just going to college and just becoming a part of that the curriculum and a part of the community. I've learned that I personally am a go-getter. All right. What I
Right.
mean by that is my accomplishments and my goals are all set by me and it's only stopped by me.
Wow.
Growing up through college, I was trying to get a degree, pay for college, work 3 jobs, and have some form of a resume before I left out of college. So I did a lot
Right.
of freelancing while I'm there with learning degree. And I've always been very astute to learning. Me and learning is just one another. I have to be a great student before I'm a great teacher. So
Right.
from learning through school and everything, I start to implement what they're teaching me from doing arts, from pottery and trying to make a few dollars making vases to screen printing, trying to make people's shirts. And I'm doing this all within the class, all on me typing to get in a grade and all on top of me working 2 to 3 jobs trying to support myself. After a while, I got burnt out doing that. And I had to
Wow.
step back and just, respect it for what it is and what I was
Hmm.
going through and just see the best step forward. Um, with graphic design, I was originally learning graphic design and mixed media painting. With that route, I learned a lot of skills that I grew up using with friends and just people that did things. Like I made a movie cover, album covers, party event flyers, logos for
Right.
friends. And this is all through in college while I'm doing as much as I can to get a good grade and to stay above, float and pay for my rent and everything.
Right.
After a while, it got to a point where I could not do what I wanted to. But that was like the last year of me getting a graphic design degree. I could not afford it. I'm already down doing my internship. I already got a job on campus doing being a graphic designer for the housing department. And
Right.
just at this point, I'm corporate and I just don't have a degree, and you all are waiting for me to get a degree. And
Right.
it was more challenging than anything. So I kind of branched off on my own after I did my internship and had enough resume credits to be a freelancer on that side. And I
Right.
started being a freelancer and started working with companies and groups doing graphic design, marketing, and it was a lot that pulled on me heavily, and I felt like I was turning into a cog into a machine, and I was making my passion into something I can hate, and I did not like that. So
Gotcha.
I branched out to find my own arts and my own type of style. And with Atlanta, you find yourself doing a lot of quirky and fun things, and one was being just finding small things that you enjoy, like body painting or just doing paint and sips classes, just finding out what my passion was again. And I learned that,
Okay.
expressing myself, doing bigger arts, it kind of just sent me back home to where I felt appreciated. I feel like it was a community around when I created art on a big scale, and there was a lot of all the mystery about it. Somebody catching
Right.
me finishing my mural 20 minutes in would not be the same as somebody seeing me start it, And that
Right.
experience alone, that they'll both be, awestruck, and mouth agape. But it's just they still got two different viewpoints. I just love that aspect of art and creating, and just the bigger the better. I used to grow up and not be able to draw on walls and get in trouble from writing my names, and now I can just
Right.
name on any wall and I can charge a fee.
Gotcha.
It feels like my childhood, the child in me did not die, and to be honest, I feel like when we have social anxieties or social things that makes it a little bit harder for us, we naturally like to mentally grow ourselves up to make it okay for what we've been going through. But honestly,
Right.
man, the way I'm turning into a kid here, drawing on walls again. Like if I was a child and I had that outlook in life, I might not, want to do this, that type of, full time. I'm doing it now, but still,
Right.
it's like, that is there. That part of you is still there.
Right.
Of it.
The hidden child.
Yeah, it's like you didn't, through all our childhood and all the traumas and all this the misunderstandings and the left places that we are left as a child, because we were put in places.
Right.
I feel like this just comes about, just full circles. It makes it, lets you know that your childhood was great. You just had things bad happen to you. And you were a great child. You just
Right.
dealing with situations that, did not look great from the outside, and you were not understood. Like, okay, we got
Gotcha.
booked every day for doing things that was misunderstood. It make no sense.
Right.
But, your parents do as much as they can. They put you forward. And I'm definitely here for that. And I'm definitely thankful. But it's a lot of healing. It's a lot of,
Right.
it's like coming back to self. Weird.
All right. And so, all right. So when you say coming back to self, so did you feel like as working, I guess, in the housing department in West Georgia, that you were losing yourself in as far as like just you
Yes.
weren't able to express yourself fully?
100%. With graphic design,
Mm-hmm.
I learned that although that was a secure push for my career in art,
Right.
it goes through a lot of validations of other people that are hiring you to do the job, right? So
Right.
think
Okay.
about a person that draws stick figures, right? That are not saying anything back, but does not have that knowledge there to put two things together in that type of format. But everything I'm turning into it, and I've been working graphic design and making logos and creating other companies and helping people out with marketing and everything so long, to where I will start to try to assist the company I'm assisting on making the logo.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get to a head point where I can see more vision for their own company and what they need to do to move forward and to be more pronounced in the world. Let's say that.
Right.
And although I'm stating this like advising, not in a sense of advising, but giving advice for a company, I'm still there to do a job. So we're to the point where there's times where I had to make logos that naturally will not fall underneath the word logo for companies that, they want, and you try to assist. I'm like, hey, this design is overly active. This is turning into an illustration. You are illustrating a whole scene and you're depicting something. This is a scene. This is illustration. It's like, no, I want this as a logo. And it's like, okay, well, at this, I had to shut my mouth and, and just accept the money and, and do the next project. But man, sometimes I made somebody logo on top of that logo they want, just so I could show them something that's more in their field or understanding. There's a lot of nuances to doing logos, like what field am I working in and things like that. A bookstore that is promoting towards children is going to be a different bookstore than one is promoting adults.
Gotcha.
It's gonna look a little bit different. That's it. So it's like, okay, these are elements of design I'm adding to everything and just involving your concept and taking it to the next level and to the next stage. And sometimes your vision outsees theirs, and that point kind of hurts when you want to help them to put their best self forward.
Right.
And I'm stuck there with a logo that looks like something they wanted, and I'm looking at mine that's like, that's something I made. And regardless, you both get both, but it's the fact that what you want might not be that's it.
Gotcha.
Man, all right. I can't tell you enough times that happens. And it'd be someone dear to you, and they just can't put two things together to where man, I remember going through people's. You have to show me your business plan, or just for me to start a logo job for you, because I'm not just want to start creating random arts.
Right.
I got a junk full drawer of logos that I hopefully will be used, or hopefully still survive after 2 years.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right. So what prompted you to start Graffiti ATL, man?
Well, Graffiti ATL kind of started a little bit after my event days of doing events with friends that put together concerts, clubs, and different late night adult themed events, to where
Right.
I used to do body painting and a few other things to I have expressions with expressing myself at these locations, to where um, one time they had a wall, and we went through the right channels to make sure I could use it for the event, and I was the curator of this giant art wall over there in Bilal Loft for a second. It's in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And one time I was out there and I was having a great time just expressing myself, spraying, and just seeing all the little things I can come up with that's in top of my head that I had in my sketchbook for decades. Believe me, as an artist, I have so many sketchbooks they can like stack up to like at least here, right?
Wow.
Different artworks, filled or not filled. I have a lot of work that I've wished I had a place to place it, or a
Right.
nice place to put it. And not everything is going to be, designed and used some other time, but you would like to go through the designs you worked so hard on. And I was out there just taking one of my sketches that I had in my sketchbooks and just putting it on this awesome wall. And I'm like at the point where I'm not even participating in the event. I'm taking their own product, not selling anything to anybody else to spray paint on, and they just see me just doing this awesome wall. And then the morning came by to where the actual business owner, the building owner, not the business owner, showed up, and
Right.
they had a huge problem. It's like that's not something that can happen. You got to clean it off. You have to pay for the damages and things like that. After that, I'm like, okay, well, I know I love this feeling. I
Right.
just got to find the right place for it to do it, does it correctly. Because yeah, the event owner said yes, I could do it, but the building owner did not know anything about it, and now
Right.
it's clean. So
Right.
going through Atlanta, that really was the next best hurdle, the next big hurdle. Where to have a class, where to express yourself, and things like that. So there actually used to be there used to be a pizza spot called Jack's Pizzas, and
Mm-hmm.
it was over in it was over there in Ponce. I couldn't really say East Atlanta Village, but they used to have an outdoor area where you get to sit and you get to spray paint, create art, and just express yourself while you're outdoors. And had this awesome wall. And it's just great areas like that that gave me time to express myself and to learn the craft a little bit. Because graffiti starting off is not the same like learning mixed media
Right.
paint or learning
Right.
yeah, it's not in no type of way. I it was days while I was used to run down graffiti artists, right, and ask them to teach me. And it sounds so weird to say, but no, it's to the point where they didn't want to teach somebody, because there's some graffiti artists out here that's been out here for over 30 years. And
Wow.
everything they learned has been through lessons. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has nothing has been easy. Nothing has been given to them, and nothing has been something like a conventional type of art style learning. There's no desk. There is no book. There's no somebody you can find that can teach you. All right. So all right, that
Mm-hmm.
was a hard part. Right after doing graffiti and trying to learn and do better, it's like, okay, well now I need a mentor, and now I need somebody that actually can guide me correctly and not be out here just doing wild stuff. And it's been troubles with that, with artists, and how they view me, and how they view how I want to teach art. But everything comes from a good place.
Mm-hmm.
I love art. I love graffiti. I like spray painting. I like mixed media painting. So as long as everything comes from love, I believe everything should be taken correctly. Some people think they have turf wars and things like that, and some people do. I am not there for that though. I'm
For
not.
real? So there are actually like turf wars when it comes to graffiti in Atlanta, I guess.
Yeah, and it's really weird
Okay.
because I see graffiti artists or taggers fight with whole mural artists. All right, And that's the
Right.
weirdest thing to do because you all might want the same wall, but you all's outcome and the way you all go towards the wall is different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a graffiti artist is going to be out there. A graffiti artist is not going to be out there for too long. If they're out there for over an hour, it's too long. It's way too long.
Right.
30 minutes, you're too much in the public eye. All right.
Right.
But for a mural artist, they sit out there for like 9 hours. Where we were at, where I teach, we have about 3 mural artists that like to come out there and put out some awesome pieces. Now I
Right.
put up my pieces every now and then, but I don't sit there for 9 hours and put up too much work. And they're in a whole nother level of artistry because they're trying to figure out how to blend colors like it are on paper. They're really trying to make it as photorealistic as they can. I know it's time.
Right.
They're there for that. So they level their process at tackling the wall. It's a little bit different and it's longer. They're gonna go through small nuances from blending colors, from doing things that way. And I like to see it in like not saying strategies. The strategies of painting it can be implemented through different through mediums. You can use different practices. So like the way I
Mm-hmm.
tackle doing oil paintings might be a little bit different from how I do acrylic, you know.
Right.
But that same methods on the way I got it done, I can do with spray painting. I can blend colors the same way. I just might have to use a different, not a brush, just a can.
Right. Right.
It shows from graffiti, from taggers just throwing up their nice tags, you know, and it looks nice and everything with the figure, the strokes and everything. All this is design based. These are design focused, oriented mindsets, you know. They're looking about form, they're looking about shape. The mural artists, they're thinking about colors, how things blend, things bleed into each other, how they play with each other. Like they're in a whole different bracket, and it's respectable, but you have to respect both. Because the same
Right.
person that sat there with 9 hours and did all that work, it would be another person that's good at tagging that's gonna come back in 5 minutes.
Right.
Yo, so it's a give and take, and there's definitely a little culture behind it. And it's a little, it's a little. Just that alone, that's right there's a fight. You got mural artists fighting with graffiti artists, and you got graffiti artists fighting with graffiti artists that taggers. You got fake taggers and toys, and then you got the ones everybody knows, like Cyclops and Vane. But the
Right.
fake ones over there, the Vane did the shipping containers over there underneath the belt line.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, because I see Vane, and then when you're riding on 75 or 285, and you see the big highway signs going across, and
Remember they had to
then
close it just to clean it?
yeah, and you look on the opposite side of it, and then when you're coming in the opposite direction, and you see like Vane on the back. I'm like,
Yeah.
how did they get up there and paint that?
I want to let you know. I want to let you know. All those people that do that have all rock climbing equipment and have been going bling and rock climbing for a minute. All right, even
Oh,
the
okay,
ones
okay.
that can get on top to the signs and everything, it's all cool until the police shut down the highway to go get you.
Right.
Yeah, all these people are really good they are good climbers. All right.
Gotcha.
All right.
Okay.
Now that we got that clear, you're gonna need a harness, you're gonna need that rope, you're gonna need that belay equipment to go down and off that scaffolding. You're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. But if you
Okay, then,
ever
because
wonder, that's exactly what they're doing. They're getting places they aren't supposed to be and rigging up the top, and so they can just come to their
shimmy
corner.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like they like it's some black ops. Like I don't know,
Right.
they
All
watch
right.
movies.
So how long has Graffiti ATL been in existence? I think you said you started at the pizza shop or whatever, Jack.
Yeah. So it's been around since like 2017. All right.
Okay.
But starting off from there is like, okay, we're gonna find our ways through it, and it took COVID, through them to really have like a nice place to really function and plan it out. Because before that, there was a bridge on top of the Beltline that we used to get on top of, and it's a beautiful view. But it's such
Right.
a private, it's so secluded that you would not know unless you know that you can get up there, right? There's
Right.
times I have private class up there with like, at first I'm like, okay, adult hours. We're gonna have only adults here to where we're gonna get somewhere cool. You're gonna feel like, you're doing it a little bit, you sneaking into places, shouldn't be. But honestly, it's just a fun experience. And I just loved it. So we
Gotcha.
definitely had our cases, and nothing too crazy. It's just exploration. I'm definitely looking for the next permanent spot to do more. Remember, this started off as a class.
Right.
I'm not sure where it can end up at. I just know I can take it to the next level, to the next
Right.
step, get a little brick and mortar.
Right.
Got my own gallery. Then we got our own
Gotcha.
pop-ups, and we're going to do next. What's next?
All right.
I believe it can grow, and I believe there's something there for everyone, from at home, doing a little tagging, graffiti at home, takeaways, to you in the art class on the wall and going crazy, to you designing your own. It's like this is pretty good, and I love the fact that every level I've worked with just about every level of artists, and we've got to express what they wanted. And I've learned that art does not have an age, it does not have a description, it does not have a barrier of entry. You have to have some form of knowledge, and you have to be willing to create. And I had 12-year-olds out here come rate big murals, and I also had retired textile designers come out here and just have a blast with their daughters and their family, to where I'm having graphic designers that need to work through some of their small issues, like drawing a full face. It might be a little bit issue for him for the body parts and the movements of it to make it look more natural. But they come out here and draw it on the wall and really express and have that growth. Art is about expressing yourself and growing within yourself and learning more about yourself and about the world. And I love that anytime I come out there, and it's always a learning experience in some type of fashion. And I love teaching the same things I used to do in school, because through COVID, I was a art teacher at Imhotep Academy. It's a private Black-owned private school in Atlanta.
Right.
And it was such a great time expressing myself in these art classes, and then showing them the awesome work I do right with the same art pieces. Like, we might sit up there and draw teddy bears all day, and how to draw a teddy bear and how to get the forms right and how to draw a face. But I come back, and I come back on Saturdays, and I draw the same thing as big as I can on this awesome giant wall, just so I can impress all the kids.
Right.
And like, yeah, Mr. Turpin, I learned how to draw this, I learned how to draw that, and I did it all together. And yeah, it's like, just like you taught me. It's like, yeah. Well, if you ever outside and you see me, you can come out here and we can draw on the wall. So you see their parents pulling up when I'm at my art class. It's like, yeah, he said he seen you over here, and he wanted to come through this Saturday and really express himself and see what he can do. And they go crazy.
Gotcha.
They go crazy. I love to see children express themselves. It's not about the money with children. It's about them seeing that they have all tools in them to make and believe in it. It's a confidence booster.
Gotcha.
To have a 12-year-old child make a mural and have over 100 people agreeing on how awesome it is, talking about what they're making, and just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And before they're done with that, we got them like, yo, they're yelling out what they're doing before they finish. Is that's Garfield? That's a butterfly. That's, and you have children their age doing the same thing, and just really just standing around just like, I really wish I could do this too. This is awesome. And it's like, you got a 9-year-old child having a great time with their parents, expressing themselves, and have their parent assist them in their own creations. Like, there's not many times where you run the diet, you run the group and with your visions, but that's what you're there for. And have the imagination. I had a few children there help me. I had a disabled child that helped me create an awesome portrait of a face. And what his mother did was help me, with decisions, and just because it's a lot of thinking, it's a lot of process, it's a lot there if you want it, right?
Right.
And that's what he was there for. He was creating ideas. I want a blue face. I want big lips. I want a unibrow just like I have. And he's being very expressive and loving every part, because I'm giving it exactly what I do. I can be an awesome assistant to a child in art, and you can be their world from that moment forward. But as soon as you have to do is make them feel comfortable in it,
right,
and run off with it. I don't know how to draw a line. Okay, well, this is less about you drawing a line and more like you feeling comfortable with drawing any line.
Right.
After that part, you see the wall, you see all the shackles fall off of them. There's nothing that's stopping me. There's nothing that can't. There's nobody I gotta check over my shoulder and look for and make sure they're feeling comfortable, and it's okay. I jump in this wall and I go crazy. There's times where a child just want to run up and down their wall or the straight line. They can
Right.
do that. You know what I mean? We're gonna talk about it a little bit. You know what I mean? But that's what you up for. You know, just so you can express yourself and you can out here and do it. You know.
Gotcha. So, quick question. So you have like the wall on the belt line. That's prime, I guess. Retail space, not retail space, but prime space on the belt line.
Yes.
How were you able or to I guess secure that wall where it's just for you, and how and going through the city of Atlanta, because that seems like that might be very, going to them
Yeah.
saying, hey, I want to paint graffiti on the wall, can you let me do it, and can you give me this wall, or how was that process?
Oh my goodness. So I want to let you know that right there, a lot of that came by faith and by blind. You look at just me blindly going for what I want. So
Right.
at the beginning, I knew the mural artists out there, and one invited me out there to come and express myself.
Right.
After that time, I seen how awesome it was and what I can do it, and what I can do with it. I had a few people do paint and sit in the at the park in the area, and I had friends
Mm-hmm.
that were just they wanted to promote, coming out to the park and just having a picnic and just painting on canvases and having a great time. And I was out there underneath the bridge learning and everything. So after a while, I'm like, okay, how about I take some people over and we express, we explore what I've been doing. All right.
Right.
The experience. And from there, they loved it. But it was not pushbacks. It was pushbacks to where I can do it correctly. All right.
Right.
As much as the Beltline wants to, because that whole area is a Black-owned business. Underneath that, they are funneling Black-owned businesses in that area. They are
Right.
promoting it, and I love it. So when they see me just do, and have a great time, they have a lot of other people from the Beltline come out and not me knowing it. They had a lot of other big name people that have seen me create art and seen me express and seen that it was for the community.
Right.
Like with our marches and everything was marching through the city. People passed, and we was just. I did a few murals back then when that was going on, and just like they loved the fact that you got the community involved. You got people take pictures of the space, of the Beltline,
Mm-hmm.
and it gave them something to do. All right.
Right.
For how much money Atlanta spent on their Beltline, they want people to take pictures and make it as much as possible. So I don't think they are missing or they're sleeping on opportunities. I think they're
Right.
just the right ones, and it just so happened that when I found them, I communicated what I wanted to do with them. They
Mm-hmm.
actually they got me through my Instagram. They someone tagged me through the Beltline and tagged the Beltline into it, and they contacted me, and we got talking through that forum. But to me, I didn't know that Instagram business can get you official. But
Right.
meeting up with them, I actually got my mentor through the Beltline.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy enough to say. I'm getting a graffiti artist mentor through the Beltline. Like I'll never put those two together. But
Right.
he got me in contact with Antar. Antar is an awesome graffiti artist that has been in Atlanta since the 90s, right? He has pictures
Mm-hmm.
of that same wall that's underneath that bridge with a
Right.
train track underneath it with his first graffiti, right?
Wow.
Right. So it's been around the 90s, right? He's been around the block. And I just love that as somebody I can learn from and somebody that actually out here just trying to make the best out of their history and their experience growing up, no matter, the outlook. You know,
Right.
we got into things growing up, we did things, but now this is how we do it properly. It's how you turn it into a career.
Right.
And so just learning from him and just doing the next step. I just wanted to talk to them about what I wanted to do. They informed me about what is needed to make this happen, and that they will okay a lot of things I do, and how naturally things go about. From there, they told me, what what uh, what insurance to buy,
Right.
if anything happens, who to talk to, and the natural way to go about it. They
Mm-hmm.
informed me about the area changing and the fact that if they want me in a little bit more permanent stay. So where
Right.
they have shipment containers and everything out there now for company for small businesses like T-shirts, food, and everything. Just so even live music, they have live music out there. But
Right.
it started from there. And I believe they have a next step for me, but if not, I believe I have a next step for myself.
Okay.
They
Okay.
tell me how they change. Oh, the area is changing. We're adding more to it. We're actually gonna, do a little bit more. And if anything changed, we still want you here. We still want this is around.
Right.
It's just been very forthcoming and it's been very opening knowing that after you build something, they will come and support it and not just try to just break it down. Because at the beginning,
Gotcha.
not everyone agreed upon what I wanted to do. Not everyone knew what I wanted to do. Not everyone knew. I had great, not out, insight. I had great, I had great intentions.
A good vision. I got you. I got you.
Vision,
I,
good intentions. Because people out here just think I had a couple of middle class graffiti artists, they just live in an area. They like to go from their house down the street and just tag up some other people's artworks.
right.
Coming here and like asking me about me, messing with their culture or something like that. I'm just like, this is so strange for me to talk about culture to a white Jewish man in this community, when this is like a privilege just for you to come and tag up this wall, you know?
Right.
Drive distances, you're doing it out the day. There ain't no police coming to stop you doing some stuff, but you out here just messing with a whole mural this guy took 9 hours for.
Right.
It's really funny. They really told me that I'm a culture vulture.
Oh wow.
Right. I think it was like a 43-year-old Mexican dude that would not teach me any type of style. I asked him, hey, can you show me a few things? Because a lot of people come and talk to you, and they be opinionated. They say a lot of things, but you cannot validate yourself towards me. I don't know your tag. I don't know you. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're not known people. So you gotta
Right.
really. So, who are you? Because I don't know you. Oh, I signed this. Oh, I've never seen that. I don't know that. I don't, this is my crew. Like, okay, well, I'm never over there, so I don't see it.
Gotcha.
It's kind of weird. It's very weird. But, it's stupid. I feel
Okay.
like when you have things better to do with your time, you're not going to worry about the guy just sitting there in front of the cops.
Right.
Don't focus on that guy. Just, go be competing with somebody that is doing something that you do. Like, I don't know.
Right.
There's some else that are tagging too. That's tagging his tags too, like somewhere else, and just like you're not trying to link up with that guy and fight him. You're trying to pull up because I'll be here from 2 to 4. Like,
right.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, Like,
So
I have my class behind me. We're just learning, but I had times where I had like a 20-year-old, I think some 20 year old guy, tatted up white boy in the neighborhood that wanted to come through and mess up my class. And it only happened. This is something that's only happened twice ever that my class ever had to stop or ever just paused. But
right.
he wanted to like run a line from one end of the wall to the other, right? Just so he can feel some type of dominance or something. It's like you're dealing with grown up with childhood mentalities, and it's really weird. But for us, it's just like, hey, we kind of have a lot more spray paint. We can go right over this, like, thank you, not thank you, but after you make this statement, and you do this part that makes you feel better, I'm gonna turn around and we're gonna keep going because there's no stopping. There's no stopping.
Right.
You can come in here, be a butthole all you want, but let us get your name. I'm gonna report you. It's super.
So I was reading in the article that you did with Shout Out Atlanta, where you stated that growth happens when you least expect it. So how much have you grown since this article was written in 2021? Because 2023 now. So how much have you grown in personally and business wise?
Business wise, man, it's been okay. So it's been new experiences from doing inside of restaurant murals, from doing I did James Brown Elementary School in Georgia, doing a mural for them and teaching their school and having the kids help out. I've grown in moments where I had experiences like, okay, I know I can do this. This is the first time I had to buy gear for 200 plus children to come out and help me with a giant mural for their school and teach on top of that. That's my first time. But hey, now that I know I can do it, I like it,
Right.
It was my first time doing an indoor mural in a restaurant and understanding, okay, these are my first times, but what's the natural proper steps? What am I needing to do to do this nice well? Like putting a clear coat over your paintings inside and out just to make sure it stays a lot longer. You know, that's one of the things I
Right.
learned, you know, and grow. How much to budget for certain things, you know. Last year price ain't this year price no more. Yeah.
Right.
Now, you know, now that I'm not doing myself a disservice for just trying to build up a resume or build a portfolio. I'm up here knocking jobs out. I'm doing it, and now I know ways to do it, from how to get groups of people together and how to network, how to promote myself, how to market, how to be published. You know,
Right.
everything small steps, even from upgrading my website every week for the dates. From people coming out and making videos. Like at some point, I did not have a video up because I was so involved with creating art. I
Right.
never sit down and record. Now, when COVID was going on, everybody was doing digital, right? So I'm sitting down trying to figure out, okay, how do I take it to the next step? How do I do an in-person art class over the phone, and how do I make this at home? You know,
Right.
with every hurdle, I seen it as an opportunity to grow, and I seen it as a challenge that I can face forward. You know, in life, there's a lot of things that you pick your battles, and I'm glad I'm picking these. All right.
Right. So I was also reading that you stated a quote from an African proverb that says, "Smooth seas do not make skillful sailors."
No, yeah.
So, so what is your interpretation of that African proverb, and how has that proverb helped you in business?
What I love about that proverb is it's because like it kind of backs off. It kind of backs up the point of anything given to you easy. There's not
Hmm.
anything worth gaining. And
Right.
business is the same thing. Some of our hardest challenges is the most rewarding for us. All right.
Right.
It does something it evolves our spirit, our mental, and it grows you to be that person. Now, somebody easily giving me all the answers to come out here and doing murals and everything, and streamlining this whole process,
Hmm.
that would take a lot of the not the fight, the fun, but the experience. I would not be able to figure out how to get out here and move my feet to create a buzz about how my art is or something else without having some type of fight. Anything
Right.
anything I've been grown up to where I've had somewhat of the harder experiences and harder times, to where I believe one of my awesome moments is seeing how much I can grow in moments to where I pretty much have nothing or at a disadvantage. How can I use
Right.
my creativity in my disadvantage to make it an advantage, you know? And
Right.
underneath that, that's kind of like graphic design and I say of marketing and just understanding you don't just run in a straight line. You run a gambit. A gambit. It's like you're doing parkour out here, and everything's a obstacle. Right? You don't want it to be easy. I don't.
Right.
I want it to look cool. You know what I mean? We doing this backflip off this issue, and be like, yo, how'd you do that? You know? I'm just like, yo, I made it work. When I go out there on the walls, every time I have a different issue with colors. I have a different issue with supplies and how I need to tackle the wall. Now,
Right.
anything that does not give you some type of creativity creates pushback. All right. Now, I
Gotcha.
want to say anything that does not give you hardship is not worth it, because some things are not worth the hardship they give you. All right. But some things that are worth striving towards is something that is fulfilling. Anything fulfilling will not be easy. Anything fulfilling will not be straightforward to answer to. If anything fulfilling is make sure that you are doing the part in it. All right. You play
Right.
a part in your fulfillment. Right? If there's not form of exploration in your craft, there's most likely not a good craft for you. That's it. If
I
all your
got it. I
answers
got it.
is right there, I don't want to do it. I can just read it. At that point, I'm just reading a label. I'm just reading a guidebook on how to, step one, do this, step two, do that. No, I want to read step one and understand that although it takes forever, I can save step one for the end. All right.
Right.
I'm gonna go back to step one at the end and make it a little bit more efficient for me. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do all my step ones together. I'm gonna line them all up and do step one together so I can just knock it out. You know what I mean? Streamline to get it real good. You know what I mean? And step two is easier. I'm already knocking those out while I'm like half asleep. You know, I can do this. I'm just pressing buttons. You know, it's just easy. You know, that's what I'm saying. There's harder. There's harder. Well, I make things harder for myself tonight, to be
Right.
honest. I come out here with no, as easy I can make a sketch or I can make a design digitally and color it up and have everything digitally on there already. There's not too much growth in my craft in that. I'm not
Right.
going to learn many skills in between me carbon copying this process to get this just like that. I'm not going to learn new skills on how to. I'm not going to learn new skills. I'm not going to learn new forms of manipulation. I'm not going to learn new acceptance. I'm not going to see new styles. I'm not going to open myself up to it. So literally, when I come out there sketching, I only got my sketchbook. My sketchbook is just sketches. They're not fully colored. They're not fully rendered. They're ideas
Right.
that I run with, all right? And that might have just a few lines already planned out. But for me, figuring out scale, warping, proportions, balance, patterns, and things like that. All these are taken into account when I walk up to the wall. And I like to know for a fact every day I face the same challenges as a child that naturally walks up to me for the first time.
Right. Gotcha.
Like, giant wall. Yeah, this is a giant wall. What are we gonna do first? Let me, process it. Let me go through this process every day, so I know I know it. So when I look at a child's head, I think I'm thinking too hard on this moment. Which step are they on? Because I don't think they have an idea fully yet, or they're thinking about everything and then thinking about everything but nothing. Like, what do you want to do?
Right.
Right? So I can be the best assistant for you. I'm just trying to be the best assistant. I can be a
Gotcha.
great teacher, but I'm here to assist you on your creativity journey, right? Now, what I like to start off with them at the beginning, any type of art style, like how I learned graffiti art is through how I've learned all the other art styles. I was trying to see what I can appropriate into the craft, all right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I learned about shading. I learned about blending. How do I blend colors? Okay, I can blend colors with spray paint. I can shade with, okay, I learned about strokes. I learned about line density and thickness and design. How can I add style to it? This is called style. This is called, what are some of the aspects? Okay, you're doing corners, sharp edges. How do I make that perfect? How do I bend a shape to where I have a two-dimensional shape? How do I make it three? How do I add
Right.
a shadow? How do I add lighting? How do I play with midtones?
Right.
How do these patterns add up? Do these mesh well? Is this concept nice? Does the layout work? And this is all just art coming back together. So I like to know that for a fact. As a child growing up, I'm still blending colors. I'm still using the 6 colors I had at the beginning. I'm still blending them together. I'm still drawing lines like I did in drawing. I'm still shading like I used to. Like all I'm
Right.
doing is working a little bit bigger and just getting over the obstacle of it being a new experience.
All
But
right.
there's
So
a lot that you've done before, you have knowledge of. And people are like, oh, I'm so unprepared. Life is unprepared. All right. You come to
right.
life and you always will. So
So mhm.
naturally, there are going to be some things you through being very anxious and through having anxieties. I learned that no matter how much I prepare, I will never be fully prepared for life. And no
That's
time.
true. That's
Right?
true.
No matter what happened, life will teach you something that you've never seen, expected to be even an outlook or to even happen. Right?
Man, that
And
is certainly
in
true.
ways, and you sit there wondering how this happened. Only thing that knew that could happen is life, because man, those things don't play out the same.
Right.
So
So
that's just it's just my outlook. How do I meet life?
mhm.
From having high anxiety to me trying to leave the house is me just grabbing about just about everything, throwing my car in the morning.
Mhm.
It's like I don't need that. I don't need to have those things. I'm just making sure just in case. I don't want to be in a position where I'm needing or. But be honest, we're watching out for things that are probably not going to occur, and what's going to occur is probably something we don't see coming.
Right. So I think you alluded to this earlier, but where do you see Graffiti ATL in the next 5 year in the next 5 years? Well, I guess as far as the class, and then personally, because I think you mentioned something about owning a gallery. So where do you see your art and what you're trying to do in the next 5 years?
I see my art getting into bigger spaces and
Hmm.
more in the 5 years, just for me being an artist, for me doing giant murals, for knowing I have graphic design background in that, to where I can take
Hmm.
my murals and incorporate it into just about any type of art I want, all right, or any type of packaging I need. I'm really
Right.
start. From knowing that this business is something to I've grown. Even the amount of money, how much I've charged has grown from me doing it back in the day, or just making sure I can just cover the supplies. I
Right.
made sure it was an art style I can do for $0. I'll do it all day if I could. If even if I make $0, I'll do it.
Right.
Now I'm charging a little bit extra more, just so I can make headway, just because I want more out of it. I
Right.
learned, now that we're growing, I have more to offer, more skills, and more to teach you.
Hmm.
But I see us being a part of a brick and mortar. I want a location to where we have our own mural art walls, to where we either can come together doing an event. And there's a lot of graffiti artists, or a lot of mural artists, or just artists in general that I taught. This is
Hmm.
definitely a class for artists. So them coming back out and expressing themselves on another day, because my art class is definitely there for them to have their engagement moment, to have their level of, okay, it's just from to turn you from being new to being proficient at it as quickly as possible. That's my art classes for. So I have
Right.
graffiti artists, not graffiti. I have mural artists. I have graphic designers that I know for a fact that came the second day that already made murals that
Wow.
I invite out again to put up a piece that they can keep up.
Right.
I want a wall where I can be like uh, a graffiti museum in Miami. All right, just like my mentor, he has his art pieces in that museum, and that's just awesome.
Wow.
I have so much knowledge around me, and it's so awesome. But just knowing for a fact that it can reach that level where I'm getting everyone from far and wide to come out, express themselves on these giant art, learn about, appreciate a lot of mural other artists, and just to see and have another outlook on it. Because believe me, at the beginning, I just wanted the students to see how much work it took for these mural artists to come out, and to have another aspect and look for mural arts, besides just seeing
Right.
it as a sense of somebody just devaluing property and just defacing things and just being destructive. And it's been going so well. I believe the community has changed their eyes and viewpoints, even with the mural artists talking. Now they have a position to start. I start my art class, and I teach the local and the community what's going on, how much work it takes into it, and
Right.
they got another outlook for the art they see around here than just seeing it as somebody just put up another poster and kept walking off.
Right.
On there, and now they sit there and they're like, man, I made this awesome piece underneath 2 hours. But you've been there since we started, and this is an awesome piece. Let me go talk to these mural artists now. Now I want to talk to the mural artists. Now I know I want to break that barrier. I want to introduce
Right.
myself to the people that's out here, because now I see what they're doing, and now I'm loving it. Like, now I see more for it. I used to just take a picture of this. It looks cool. It's gonna be something different. So now I understand that's something soon that's changing. A man's gonna have to sit out there all day to put that up, and we're gonna be it's gonna involve him putting his efforts and his time into doing something that's most likely has like a small percentage of paying out, besides promoting yourself. And you're hoping people tag you, and you're hoping somebody respect it, and you're hoping it stays there. Like,
Right.
now that they see that, now they have another level of respect for it. Now they see it, man. Now they want to invite you into places they know they have available for artists that they never expected to want.
Right.
I have all these white walls in my business. I really wish a mural artist would come out and do something. Now it's to the point where they're looking at it like, now I can see the affordability in it. Now I can see the amount. Now I can see why. Now I can see me putting together a budget to afford an artist to do something like this, because he out here putting up these awesome art pieces for us to do for free out of his pocket. Awesome.
Right.
And it's like, that is what that's what the public needs to see. You know, the public needs to see and hear that, hey, the people that are enjoying this art are the same people you have to, you go into business with, the same people you walk in and be a customer to, the same people that you go and you do something with, and you respect their art, they craft.
Right. So it sounds like you're trying to change the perception of graffiti artists.
Yes.
That you see around and make it more, I guess, a viable product. Like, hey, this is really art. Yeah.
I'm just trying to tell a real story. There's a real story
Right.
that is not being told because it's not in their best interest, right?
Right.
It's not their best interest to see the person that is defacing properties and destroying properties as someone that's creating. All right,
Right.
that right there does not help the narrative of that. All right, it does not help them sending me to jail for 5 years just because I put on the wall and they cannot find the owner. It does not help.
Right.
It helps. It's a little bit easier if you think anybody and everybody who touches this wall and do anything that defaces nice property is just a crook and criminal.
Right.
Right. But you see these awesome art pieces and wondering they're the same people. These awesome pieces on the side of these buildings, no one touching and everything. It's there because someone had to respect them. Somebody had to give them budget. Somebody had to give them a chance.
Right.
And that's what we all want.
Gotcha. That's true. We all want a chance, and I guess we all want to feel appreciated and sort of kind of, for lack of better words, validated. But knowing that what we're doing is a great benefit to society.
It's really funny, and what's really bothersome about some type of art styles and everything in the city in Atlanta, because like you see a lot of art styles to where they're trying to sell like their printouts, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to buy a printout, you got to do a lot of marketing to make a person want it, right?
Right.
It's a little bit harder, and I really would like to change the narrative of artists out here, and just being very short-minded in the depiction of what can be considered art, what can be considered you providing for yourself through art.
Right.
I got a lot of portraits and things hanging up, oil paintings and everything, and printings, but not all my work sold. I have sculptures of out of aluminum, it's called iron pour. Like we're melting molten metal and doing structures and shapes that we put together. I have a whole bust of my face, but I was in a gallery and I could not get it the way I wanted to, and I could not figure it out.
Right.
But when I do graffiti, it's a giant poster. It's a giant billboard,
Right. I got you.
It makes me a little bit more known. It's a great stepping stone for anybody who's trying to be seen. Just switch it out. To be honest, I'll do a giant mural and sell prints right in front.
Gotcha. Well,
would that not make more sense? It just means somebody just walking up, just seeing what I got on my table and going through trying to figure out which ones they like. And okay, cool. Nah, let me put that giant one on the wall. Now you can have it at home.
Right.
All of the day. It's already signed by the artist, and you do it from there.
Right.
Now, from all the art styles and all the art backgrounds and all the art studios I have in my mind for knowledge.
Come
on now. That's it.
All right.
A little bit different for each one, and I'm just trying to do best I can to use what I have, my knowledge, and what I've been through. Because believe me, we learned a lot. We've been through a lot, and we got a lot of places to go. All right.
Gotcha.
That's honestly, we growing.
All right. Well, Malcolm, I certainly appreciate you coming on to I Feel You the podcast. And if you could, you're welcome, sir. You're welcome. And if you could just give me your social media handles. I'm also going to put it in the description as well. So when I publish this, everybody can have links to the class and everything if they want to sign up. But yeah, all your social media information, and then we can go from there.
All right. Well, I'm Malcolm. You can find me at Embellem, EMBELEMB, at Instagram. You can find my class at graffiticlass.atl at Instagram or at graffiticlassatl.com.
Gotcha. Like I said, I'm going to put all the links in the description box when I post the episode. I certainly appreciate you coming on, Malcolm, man. Like I said, I took his class. It's on the Beltline, right? Sort of kind of, if you're at the old Fourth Ward skate park, it's down from that up under the bridge. You're gonna see, like I said, the two containers. There's gonna be one container probably playing with a DJ in it, another container with the t-shirts. He's on the opposite side of that with the wall, and you're gonna see the kids and all the adults out there having fun. And then like I said, I've been noticing your Instagram as well, man. Like your last class, like you had a lot of people out there. Oh, do you also do group events? It looks like that was a group event.
I do group events and I do
Right,
group classes. I've had a few colleges try to come down from Ohio to visit and everything, and
right,
I've been loving the stepping stones to getting really, just getting more and just more known.
right.
I do group events. We can definitely sign up for a group class or a private event. I do public events. I do pop-ups. I've done birthdays. Man,
Right.
I did this one a girl. It was a 9-year-old girl birthday party. First time, I'm like, okay, she's 9. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty sweet. Let's figure it out. I showed up with my own graffiti wall, tarp and everything. Their house had their own mural wall. They have a
Oh
own.
wow.
So whenever they finish with their murals, they're gonna be doing one at their house, and I'm just like, that is such powerful. Call me back. I want to assist. I want to assist. So
Right. That's neat.
But just thinking that there's kids out here that have a chance to do a mural before they get told not to draw on walls now. Like, and I feel like, yeah, that's exactly what should happen. That's exactly.
All right. All right. Well, I certainly appreciate everything, Malcolm. Thank you. And to everyone out there, thank you for joining into our Feed the Podcast. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
All right, guys.